Welcome, I'm Courtney Davis from theempoweredwoman.ca, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how to love your vagina. So I'm going to share my personal journey of how I went from really sort of hating and loathing my vagina, feeling like she was this symbol of disempowerment for me, to going to full-blown fucking loving my vagina. I think she is awesome. I experienced so much pleasure, and it's really been a journey to getting there. I've done a lot of work, and now that is really what I share with women. So in this video, I'm going to share that journey. So the first step on my journey to loving my vagina was just getting really real with how I honestly felt about her through yoni gazing, so looking at my vagina a lot in the mirror and touching her and sort of just being with and observing the different thoughts and beliefs that would come up in those times, in those moments. I was able to start really addressing those beliefs. So I didn't really run away from or hide from these thoughts and beliefs. I just observed them, I accepted them as they were, and I started to engage with them. I also started to ask myself where these disempowered beliefs towards my vagina were coming from. And what I personally discovered after really diving into that on a deeper level was that my vagina to me represented being a woman, and on a deeper level I felt disempowered in being a woman. On some level I felt that as a woman I would never be as powerful and as meaningful in this world as a man. I didn't understand the beauty and significance and all of the gifts that came with being a woman. So from there, I started to seek out different role models and ideologies in which women and the abilities and gifts of women were really honored and noted. And so through doing that, I started to see that these beautiful abilities that were reflected in different cultures and by different women that I looked up to were also within me. At the same time, I consciously sort of forced myself to start looking at more vaginal imagery. So a lot of flowers that looked like vaginas and other images of other women's vaginas, just to make myself more comfortable and really allow myself and my different beliefs to become triggered as I looked at this imagery so that I could start addressing them and taking them from this subconscious level to my conscious so that I could then consciously change them. So in addition to addressing the disempowering beliefs and shame that I held towards my vagina, I also started to consciously heal and awaken my connection to my vagina. And the first way that I did that was very physically. So through practices like the yoni egg practice, through really conscious, slow self-pleasure, and through self-yoni massage. I also awakened my connection to my vagina through things like more guided visualization, meditation type practices, where I'd really visualize my connection to my vagina. I would visualize infusing her with love and appreciation and gratitude. And I visualized consciously letting go of different experiences or emotions that my vagina may be holding on to for me. Another key part of healing my connection with my vagina was really consciously exploring the inside. And when I started healing and awakening my connection to the inside of my vagina, including my G-spot, my cervix, my womb, and just all throughout, that is when I really started to feel the power of having a womb and a vagina. And so on a more embodied level, these more empowered beliefs around what it meant to be a woman and to have a vagina started to pervade me. So the belief clearing and then the practices to heal and awaken my connection to my vagina are really an ongoing thing. I still do all of that work today on an ongoing basis. And then in addition to those two aspects, I also consciously sought out different educators to start really deeply learning about and understanding female pleasure. And so when I felt more empowered in my ability to experience and give myself pleasure, that also helped to improve how I felt about my vagina and my body. So I have spent countless hours just exploring and feeling different parts of the outside and the inside of my vagina, and really just my entire body, just consciously exploring my pleasure potential, what allows my pleasure to increase, what causes me to shut down, and really just getting to know myself on a very intimate level. And then lastly, there's been this whole educational piece for me around understanding how to more naturally and holistically care for my vagina. And so doing care practices like the yoni egg practice, even self-pleasure is absolutely a vaginal self-care practice, has been amazing. As well, just learning about different aspects of being a woman. So really learning how to work with my menstrual cycle, viewing it as a gift rather than this curse that I have to deal with every month. Once you start to understand and work with your cycle every single month, it becomes a much more empowering dynamic as opposed to feeling like you're sort of having to put up with and deal with these different things that come up throughout your menstrual cycle. And that has been my journey in a nutshell. So addressing various beliefs and shame, healing and awakening my connection to my vagina, really understanding and delving into my pleasure capacity, and then just understanding different aspects of being a woman, so my cycle, and also how to really naturally, holistically care for myself. And it is no coincidence that my online course that I've created is ultimately based exactly around that structure. I created the online course based on my own journey and what really felt authentic and effective for me. And so I can truly stand behind the journey that I take women through in those 4 weeks. And I do believe that when you do that work, you can go from feeling completely disempowered about your vagina and your sexuality as a woman to fucking owning and loving your pussy, your sexuality, your pleasure, and just gaining an overall deeper sense of freedom and sexual confidence. Sexual fulfillment truly does begin with yourself. It comes down to self-understanding, becoming empowered in your own body, your own sexuality, and then being able to gloriously share that with another person. There is so much depth and value to exploring your vagina as a woman. Our sexuality is such an important part of who we are, and so when we're able to unleash that and really tap into it and allow our sexuality to become an integrated part of who we are, that is when I believe we can start stepping into our full power as people. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and also check out my website, theempoweredwoman.ca. If you feel inspired or you relate to anything that I've shared in my story and you're curious about the work that I do, check out my online course for women, Viva La Vagina.